This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network, and the following program is brought to you by the Verdoliak Law Group, fighting insurance companies since 1963, and TickSplits.com. TickSplits.com, no service fees. The price you see is the price you pay.
This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Trubisky's not a loser. And me coming over to Trubisky, here's what I'm going to tell the people. To say, oh, it's about time you came over, and I knew it all along. You're all morons who love Cutler. A guy that dresses up like Mike Ditka before a game, that's probably what turned to me that he understands the tradition of the Bears. If Jay Cutler would have been everything this guy is, he would have probably been gone to the playoffs 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And I fully expect Trubisky to keep getting better because he gives a damn. And I think that's 90% of the bad. Don't you like when I just shut people down and I make a reasonable argument? That's what debate's all about. That's what it's all about. I hate that song. The hokey pokey sucks. Let's just go on. Put your left foot in. I don't like nobody telling me what to do when I'm dancing. You put your left foot in. I'm going. Nagy understands the division. Wants that. Trestman, Fox. They wouldn't understand Bear tradition if it hit them in the ass. So Matt Nagy has instilled that into the players, and I love it. This Trubisky kid with Nagy is the right marriage, and I'm going to give Ryan Pace and everybody from Ted Phillips on down a little pat on the back.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman, and we have a lot to talk about tonight. Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy met with the media for 40 minutes on Monday, and we are going to dissect some of the things that they said regarding Cody Parkey, Jordan Howard, and a lot more. We'll also get Mike's take on what happened yesterday with the 4 playoff games, and we'll find out how that movie Scriptwriting Day went last Friday with Mike. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Aldo. What's going on, everybody, at the bar room? It's good to be on. Boy, a mixed bag yesterday. I went 0-2 yesterday, 2-0 on Saturday. I'll tell you what, it was a 500 week. The games were just okay. Got some blowouts more than close games. There seems to be a talent disbalance, if you will, from the bottom 20 teams to the teams above them, and even the playoff teams, there's some disparity. So it was interesting to watch, and you know what? You got the usual cast of characters ready to roll.
Which of those 4 games was the most entertaining for you? Because I got to tell you the truth, I wasn't that entertained by any of them.
Well, I'll tell you what, the one that wasn't entertaining to me was the one that I took San Diego. I'm a Brady guy, but the system that I play told me to take San Diego or L.A. By the way, I'm never going to criticize anybody from, not being able to grasp something when I'm still calling the Chargers San Diego 2 years later after they've moved. My intelligence quotient definitely has dipped, but you know what? I'm good with it. Are you good with me saying San Diego? I think most people still say San Diego.
I say it 99.9% of the time. So
does everybody else. And I think that I gave up.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally figured out Houston. The Houston Astros are in the American League. Took me a while. I figured out the Brewers switched leagues. That took me about a year. But this San Diego Charger thing, it's ingrained in my brain forever. I mean, that's just the way it is. From Lance Allworth to John Hato to Chuck Muncy, please.
How about that? That is so true. That is so true. I'm the same way. The other day, I mean, it wasn't the other day, the other month, I'm looking at the baseball standings to see who's in the playoffs, and I'm like, when the hell did the Brewers change leads in the Houston Astros? What the hell is going on here?
That's right. I mean, you just look at some of the things, but I just can't beat it, so for once, I'm just going to say you overcame me. It's the San Diego Chargers. I don't even think the Chargers have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I think it's a tarnished emblem. I really do. Since they moved to Los Angeles, they're going to share a stadium with the Rams. I mean, they're going to be the redheaded stepchild. I mean, to me, it's just stupid. And I'll tell you what else. Phillip Rivers played just okay, but the rest of his team didn't help him. The thing that I cannot believe is that Anthony Lynn didn't adjust. He just kept playing the same defense. And, against Brady and them, if you're not going to change up on them, forget about from quarter to quarter, from play to play, you're doomed.
Adjustments are so important for an NFL coach to do, and the Chargers coach was just late in doing them. And how about Sony Michel runs for 129 yards, 3 touchdowns. It allowed Brady to kind of just sit back and pick away at the Chargers defense. That was a bee-slapping, as they say in the old neighborhood.
By the way, I want to apologize, Aldo, to you and everybody else. I do shoot for the top. We lost out to the national championship game as far as the podcast thing goes last week.
That's right.
For our debut, Aldo said, we're going to put you in the best possible spot. I go, when? He goes, the national championship. I go, I'm ready. I wasn't, but we'll do better. Believe me when I tell you this. But I got to tell you, to me, the playoffs are so different. You know that I've heard today 3 times that Kansas City's going to beat New England? Mm-hmm. I heard it from Danny Cannell. I heard it from Adam Shine on Mad Dog Radio. Mm-hmm. I heard somebody else say it on TV. And I'm saying to myself, okay, and Andrew Luck was supposed to move on. And, you could start breaking all this down. A lot of people thought New England was going to lose yesterday, including me.
Oh.
Nothing comes to form. I said that when it comes to the playoffs. Defenses get a little bit better. I think the defenses, and I think the balance is more with the NFC teams. And I think, the gaudy scorings with the AFC teams. Yet, Aldo, I don't know if you know this. This is why I'm here. I do my homework. It's the top 4 scoring offenses are left in the playoffs.
Isn't that something? I didn't know that. Holy cow! No wonder the Bears are out.
Well, that's something to think about.
Yeah.
That defense, as much as we love it, is now, when it comes to the top teams in football, playing second fiddle. I'm sorry. You hope that you have a defense that can come up and stop certain plays, maybe certain drives, but the days of, giving up 3 points and winning divisions are over. It's a regular season thing. And, I just look at it, and I get a puzzlement out of it. I think New England still plays well-balanced football. You see what the running backs do, and, it's not all about Tom Brady.
Right.
Yet they managed to stay up and score. That's why I still love them. I'm hearing everybody else likes Kansas City, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now, this Philadelphia-New Orleans game, the Eagles get off to a 14-0 lead in the first quarter. It looks like they're going to run the Saints out of their own home building, and then all of a sudden things shift around. The Saints start pecking away. They score 10 points in the second quarter, a touchdown in the third quarter, add a field goal in the fourth quarter. They end up winners 20-14. Could the Bears have beaten that New Orleans Saints team yesterday if they were playing them?
Yeah, they could have beaten them.
I think so,
I mean, the Bears beat the Rams.
That's right.
So you look at teams that they beat. Now, they lost to New England. Mm-hmm. And I said at the time when they lost to New England, I'm just looking at the teams that are playing the Bears in the playoffs. I said, if you remember, Aldo, I go, that's an experienced, bona fide winning football team that will take advantage of youngsters.
Yes.
There's not that many of those teams around.
Yes.
And New Orleans, besides, the one key they have is Drew Brees, who's got the seniority, if you will. He's 37 years old. But they're a young football team in a lot of spots, just like the Bears. Right. I think the difference would have probably been, and without being biased, would have been Brees against Trubisky, and we lose that.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I do think that if the Bears were to have gone to New Orleans, I know they would have played L.A. had they won against the Eagles, but had they played in New Orleans, let's say for the NFC Championship game, my money would have been on the Bears to, at the very least, to keep it close and probably cover, because the Saints would have definitely had the edge there. But that was a interesting game. What did you think about Alshon Jeffrey dropping that pass on that final drive?
Well, I think that Bear fans were cruel, which is fine. I really did. I saw Twitter. You know me. I'm on Twitter all the time. Anybody ever wants to talk to me about Barroom or on Twitter about my associations with Aldo because he's my guy or anything else, just give me – I answer on Twitter, and it's fun. I got to tell you something. What goes around comes around. He was good for the Bears. He's made some big catches for them, but that's going to haunt him.
Yep.
That's going to haunt him. I mean, you don't drop a ball like that and get up today and say, I feel good about life.
I know. What was he thinking?
You don't go out and go, I'm buying some balloons. You stay in the house. He couldn't go to breakfast today. He probably avoided going to his favorite bagel restaurant in the morning. He stayed home, didn't go to Gino's. I mean, if you're Alshon Jeffrey, you're Richard Kimball right now. You know?
The fugitive, yep.
Yeah, you're in the tunnel. You're in the tunnel that leads to the 200-foot fall into the Des Plaines River.
I love that scene.
So do I. I run it back 5 times, especially on losing Sundays.
Harrison Ford, as Richard Kimball says, I didn't do it. And Tommy Lee Jones, as the detective, says, I don't care.
And then Richard Kimball jumps.
Isn't that pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah. And you know what I mean? It's so amazing. He survives the fall, yet he gets a twig in his mouth and almost drowns. I don't know. Believe me, when I write, but when we're done writing our script, we'll hear criticism too. I'm just getting ready. Hey, criticism's part of the entertainment business.
Absolutely.
You got to roll with it. You got to go with it, and you can't be afraid.
Now,
sound like Pat? I sound like Patton.
You do.
And then he says, "I'll be back here. You guys go."
You've got a little Patton in you, don't you? What'd you say?
Yeah, but you're more of the genteel type. You got a little Ike in you. Ike Gandia. That's your new nickname. Ike Gandia.
I like Ike Gandia. All right.
I'm changing it. Can we change it on Twitter? There he is, Ike Gandia. By the way, I never leave the A off.
Never. But John
Buffon, the best in the business.
John Buffon calls me Aldo Gandiva. I don't know where he got that from, but
oh man. Well, I'm not going to argue with him.
John's a big guy.
I'm not. Oh my God. He took up the other day. I don't think he was laughing. He took a little picture of himself on Twitter. What's disturbing? He was on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
By a creek.
Yes.
You see that picture?
Yes.
What's scary is who did he get to take the picture to stand in the water?
The Loch Ness Monster's the only one that would approach him.
And then I said, I don't want to say nothing, but you look like one of the convicts from Escape from Demora, or whatever that movie was. And I didn't get a response.
Yeah, did
you see that series?
Yes, I did. But I was going to ask you. I look at John Buffon and how big he is. I mean, the guy's got muscles on top of muscles. And then I remember you telling me that Doug Buffon grabbed you in a headlock once. His uncle.
Stronger than dirt, man.
Man, that must have been something.
No, that's in the genes up there. They're in Western Pennsylvania, and they like play in the woods a lot. That's scary.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And the carrying guns.
I mean, those guys, the Buffons family's filled with, strong guys. That's it.
Oh, my goodness. All right, yep. The Rams 30, the Cowboys 22. The Rams were in complete domination after a 17-point second quarter, and then after that, the game kind of settled down a little bit. They let the Cowboys come back, but this game was never in doubt. The Rams were clearly much better than the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, Aldo, I'm not a Jason Garrett guy. I'm not. And I don't know if they had a coach that was better, like Coughlin back in the day, or somebody with more of a presence. I've always thought Jason Garrett's got a little assistant coach in him. Mm-hmm. And I could not believe the Dallas Cowboy offensive line got manhandled, man.
Yeah,
I mean, they got beat up, and that's supposed to be their strength. And I didn't see a lot of physicality. I saw the Rams with 200-yard rushers. I mean, you got C.J. Anderson, you got Gurley. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I watch the games, I do my homework. And I got to tell you, I kept thinking to myself, the Bears beat this team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the big difference in the playoffs is, if you noticed, I'll tell you what, the most pitiable performance of the 2 days was Andrew Luck. I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Yeah, 200 yards.
He was horrible, throwing the ball into the ground. He looked scared. He just got overwhelmed. And you know why I started thinking? He was playing outside, man.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And if somebody's going to tell me,
yep,
after what I saw with Andrew Luck, that being a dome team and then going outside ain't a big deal, you missed that game.
Yeah.
You missed him because he's been good. he was horrible, and he let him down. He really did.
He really did. And, of course, my 2017 draft crush, Patrick Mahomes, played well, although he did not throw for a touchdown. But he was just doing some incredible things, throwing the ball sidearms, doing pirouettes, and throwing the ball, doing no-look passes. I mean, this guy is so entertaining to watch. And how about that run game? Damian Williams, 25 carries, 129 yards. He gets a rushing touchdown. Tyreek Hill gets a rushing touchdown. Some guy named Darrell Williams gets a rushing touchdown. Mahomes himself rushed one for a touchdown. So it was the running game that completely annihilated the Colts defense, but it was also, of course, Mahomes' brilliance and creativity.
Buying time, creating. I think the Patriots have already lost, according to some people. I think they're going to be in for a big shock. If anything I read, I think people will come to their senses in a couple of days. Wait a minute. He's a young kid. This is going to be a closer game than we think. Who knows? But that being said, you got the two guys getting ready to meet maybe in the Super Bowl, Drew Brees and Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
Two completely different guys. One guy is an improviser. He's like that artist Pollock, the guy that just threw paint at a wall and then said, "Look how good I am," you know. And people go, "God, this guy is good." And then they put up a cloth filled with paint up on their wall. Breeze is the perfectionist, the pocket passer. It's going to be a tale of two styles if those two meet.
Right.
But there is no guarantee there. And if Brady goes back, I hear people say they're tired of Brady. And the New England Patriots, those are just haters. I've been saying all along. And Brady's got a chip on his shoulder, folks.
Yes, he does.
He's got a big one. Oh, I just like winning. And everybody's against us. That's his game, just like Jordan. Just like Jordan. The great ones play that chip on my shoulder game, and nobody plays it better than him.
You are not kidding at all about that. Now, these championship games on Sunday, we're going to come back to them towards the end of the show and get your early thoughts on those games. Of course, we'll find out for sure who you were advising us to bet on Friday's show, but I'll get some early indications on you. We'll talk to you early odds. But first, I want to talk about the press conference that happened with the Chicago Bears today. Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace met with the media for about 40 minutes. They answered everything from Cody Parkey's diaper changes to potentially bringing in Kareem Hunt, and we're going to talk about all that. But first, let's start with the hire of Chuck Pagano. This is what Matt Nagy said about Mr. Pagano, the new defensive coordinator of the Chicago Bears.
He has an attacking style, mentality. He is aggressive, but yet, as we try to talk about all the time, being calculated too. You got to be smart with it. But he's been doing it for a long time. He's been in this league for a while. He's had a lot of success. He's been around some really, really good defenses, some really, really good players on defense. And the more we talked, the more that I felt like, this is a really good, perfect fit for us, and just really looking forward to it and excited for it.
What do you think about this hire, Chuck Pagano, defensive coordinator, Chicago Bears?
Well, to let you know that I don't have some-timers, I do remember Friday's show where you asked me about him, and I said I love him.
That's right, you did.
I said I love him. I said the guy had leukemia, and he wanted to coach football while he was maybe going to die. That's my kind of guy. Character guy. Players seem to like him. They know that he's got pedigree. I think it's a good hire, a great hire. I'm comfortable with it. I think that he'll institute himself. He's good at coaching, and this is what I said Friday, folks. That's why I'm doing a Monday show, so we can repeat this. He's good at coaching top-level talent.
Yep, that's well put.
He'll take you from point B to point A, or from point C to point B. I think the Bears are going to pick up a couple more players. I think you'll see this team in better shape. He had the 2011 Ravens. He's had bad defenses too.
Right.
But I said this last week. It's about the talent, and he knows how to coach that. So, and I like Nagy that he's not paranoid about an accomplished coach on the sidelines if things go bad. And some coaches are. And they don't want anybody else around him. For instance, we've brought this up before. I don't think Lovie Smith wanted Ron Rivera around him. at the end. Yeah. And that was one of his downfalls. Why? Not because he didn't think Rivera was good. Rivera was stealing some of his spotlight, no doubt, because he was a defensive guy too, but he also saw the McCaskey family loved him, and he'd be next in line.
Yep, I've heard those stories too, that Lovey was very reluctant to have Ron Rivera get the kind of spotlight because he thought, this guy's a former Bear. They love him from the 85 Bears. He's well-liked. I want to bring in my own guys that I can trust.
The family loved him.
Yeah.
The McCaskies loved him.
Yep. But
we loved him. I worked with him, okay? Mm-hmm. I used to call him Chico.
Right,
so,
right.
I worked every Saturday with him in the early days of the Score. I remember he couldn't even get in line. He couldn't even get in.
Yeah.
And then he went and volunteered for Wannstedt's staff. Volunteered. They didn't pay him.
Yeah.
He did this on his own, which really aggravated me at the time. He was like, but they quality control. Yeah, we'll give you quality control. We're not going to pay you. That was the old Bears way of doing things.
Yes, exactly.
And it was really stupid. And as it turns out, he's done pretty well for himself, so he doesn't regret it. He put in the work, and good for him.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on the issue of Matt Nagy just not being threatened at all by bringing in a former head coach, and he's totally unlike Lovie Smith in that regard. That's a great point.
Nagy bought... great point. Let me put this here, third one.
You get a little star on your report
I just put the dash across there. Matt Nagy bought himself at least 2-3 years.
You think
this
so?
Year.
Yeah.
He could go 4-12 next year. He'll bounce. It could happen, and all this goodwill will go out the window. I don't think that's going to happen. I saw, like I've said many times before, I used to be adept at predicting the Bears' plays. Adept at what they were going to run. I couldn't do it this year. Guy's pretty damn good, man. Good coach, and I think Pagano's going to be as good as Fangio. I do.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, now we have to get to the topic that was trending on Twitter. Mr. Cody Parkey. He was talked about ad nauseum during the press conferences. Both Pace and Nagy were peppered questions throughout the press conference about Nagy. This is what Nagy said about Cody and whether he was told by Cody that he was going to appear on the Today Show.
Well, I found out. I don't even know the exact time that it was, but for me, and you understand that we always talk about a we and not a me thing, and we always talk as a team. We win as a team. We lose as a team, and I didn't necessarily think that was too much of a we thing.
Translation. I'm not happy that guy went on.
Just say he was a selfish prick, like you really were thinking it. That's what he was. And I said
exactly
it
right.
on the show Friday. I said, let me tell you something. I don't get the tour. You're going on the world tour? What are you doing? I go, and if I'm not mistaken, I said, look. Hey, look, it's not the Sunday morning show or the Friday morning
That's
show.
Right. This is Monday.
What I'm going to tell you is that I said, hold on. Khalil Mack ain't on no show. Trubisky ain't on a show.
Yep.
This guy's grabbing the glory for being a loser.
Yep.
And what do I hear today? The same thing come out of these mouths. I like this staff. They think like me, which is terrifying. Or I think like them. I can't believe it because he's gone. He is gone. Period.
Yes.
They're going to have a quarterback. They're going to have a kicking competition. Okay? Right. And they want somebody else to win.
Wow.
Because to eat that money's nothing. It's $1 billion organization. Mm-hmm. Eat it. Eat the money. You don't want him around. There's players there that don't want him around. I guarantee you they heard some feedback. And here's the best part. The media that was, oh, poor Cody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, poor Cody. Now it was the fingernail hit it. What a gutsy guy. He went on TV, and he faced the press. They're the same people now, after hearing Nagy and Pace, are going to be going, he's got to go. He's got to go.
That's
the
right.
hypocrites.
It's true.
He's got to go.
It's very, very
when
true.
last week they were with them.
It's very true. Now, like I mentioned earlier, throughout the press conference, they're being asked questions about, Cody's future with the team, and they're not saying, he's not coming back. They're saying things, there's going to be competition and so forth. And then about the 35-minute mark of this 40-minute press conference, this is what Ryan Pace says about Cody Parkey.
You got to be honest with yourselves in these, and I think as we go forward, that's when we got to be real and say, hey, that's an important position for us. It's a position of emphasis. We want more production out of that position, and we're going to get that. We're going to strive for that. That's going to be an area of focus. So we're not going to hit on our goal is, of course, to hit on every draft pick and every UFA, but that's just not reality. So sometimes when that doesn't happen, you have to self-reflect and be honest and then improve it going forward.
I think what he is saying there is
he's gone.
Bye-bye, Cody. Yes.
He's gone.
It's pretty
and
obvious.
I'll tell you a thing. I like Ryan Pace, what he's done.
Uh-huh.
All right? But he's a hypocrite, too.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kevin White is still on the team.
Yeah.
All right? So when you're assessing certain people, okay, and you admit that you made a miss, there's other people that are stopping this football team from getting to the next level. And he's done a tremendous job. I'm not taking away from him. But Kevin White does you no good to be on this team.
Mm-hmm.
None. We got better receivers than that. Taylor Gabriel, breakout year. Allen Robinson finished strong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
I mean, I'm looking at all these guys. I don't like the tight end anymore. They can get rid of him anytime they want.
Trey Burton? So
see you later. You're not ready to play. You're afraid to play. Your anxiety or whatever. We can't use you. What are you going to do? It's the biggest game of the year. And everybody's ignoring that he didn't play. Man, you know how big it was that he was out? You had just did a poll. Because you're a genius with this. You had just did a poll. Who's the most important guy on the Bears? Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, or Trey Burton? I said Trey Burton. And then the next week he doesn't want to even play. I go, come on. You got to have that guy in there. Look at the tight ends, what they did yesterday. Look at Gronkowski. Look at Kelsey. And this kid Burton, I'm not saying he's them, but please. He said he had a damn good year, and he was a good safety valve for Mitch Trubisky.
They had the whole game plan centered around him, and then all of a sudden...
it's a devastating blow. And you don't think players are looking out of the corner at their eye at this guy? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Well, your buddy Norm Potash asked Nagy and Pace about Trey Burton's injury, and this was what Pace said, because Potash said, was it anxiety-related? And this was what Pace said.
Because we went through that. So, Trey, he practiced Friday, just reflecting back on that, and then Saturday he woke up with the inflammation in the groin area. So all our MRIs, all our scans show that. So it's significant. So we talked through that really every second. And for us, our doctors and what the test revealed, that was a real injury that he had to deal with. We were hopeful it would calm down by kickoff. Unfortunately, he didn't. Our expectations would be, if we were fortunate enough to win that game, he could have been ready the next week, but he wasn't ready that game.
I still think it was anxiety-related. Anxiety can create physical pain. It can.
Listen, inflammation in the groin area in my day was syphilis, okay? We have break. Are we out of our minds here? Inflammation. If my buddies at Padua, all the football we played, I can't play today, Mike White. Inflammation in the groin area. Are you out of your mind? I mean, come on, you're covering for the guy. That's fine. I'm with you. I mean, come on.
It does seem like the covering for him. I have to admit.
You know what? I don't give a damn. If you have the craps, you play the game and then take care of it afterwards.
Oh, my goodness.
What is going on?
Heart 4803 says Mike North is dead on.
Let me ask you something. You got gonorrhea. You got a championship game at 1 o'clock. You find you got gonorrhea at 12. You know you got a couple days to take care of it. You're playing. You're playing. I know I play.
How did you know I played with gonorrhea once?
Man, I'm just saying. You don't think guys play with problems? I mean, God, it's ridiculous. And this Cody Parkey, I'm going to tell you something. He bought himself. He should have and they didn't even tell him. They don't tell the team.
I know, that's crazy.
They just know to fly.
That is crazy.
Unbelievable.
All right, another big topic of discussion at the press conference.
You get me going. I tell you this.
I know. I'm going to get you going with this next one too.
Like that.
I know you're gonna really really want to share your opinion on this one.
If I had terminal cancer and I could play, I'd play. And then poke me up to bring me to hospice afterwards.
Well, and some of our listeners may not know that, all throughout your youth and adult life, you played sports. I mean, you were I would describe you as a Pete Rose type of, I'm going to win at any cost kind of thing. Would that be correct?
Yeah, I won MVPs. I won the Hamlin Park softball MVP 1985, 35 teams. I was the best softball player in the city for at least that one day. Won Clarendon Park. We played A-ball. I mean, I played hard at football, baseball, basketball. I mean, this is nonsense. Inflamed groin.
Yeah.
I remember I woke up one day and I thought one testicle was bigger than the other. Did that stop me from playing some touch football? Hell no! Then the next day it was okay. I don't know what happened. Maybe I slept on it wrong.
Yeah, we won't say anything.
I don't like this guy. I don't. You know what? They got two problems. This Burton guy, because they got to cover for him, because that's a sign of weakness in the National Football League. Period.
Yeah.
That and the Sopranos.
That's right.
He couldn't make the hit. He had an inflamed groin. That don't work. That doesn't work there.
Yeah.
You can't say that, and nobody's going to cover for you. So it's a reputation thing too. I think too. You don't want that to get out, but I think there's some players that are going to. I honestly think that. You thought it. I thought it. So why wouldn't the players think it?
Yes, I totally agree with that. Now, Jordan Howard was a topic of discussion. He was asked, Matt Nagy was asked about Jordan Howard and fitting into the offense and so forth. And you know what it was? I'm not even going to play the soundbite because it was so strange that he never said, like, I am satisfied with Jordan Howard. I want him to come back. He just kind of talked around it. So we have to, during the offseason, keep an eye on the Jordan Howard, Matt Nagy saga once again, like we did last offseason. But he was a little bit more committal about former Kansas City Chiefs running back Kareem Hunt. And while he didn't say, Nagy said that he called him but didn't talk football. I just wanted to see how he was doing and so forth. And then he was asked by someone, would he forgive Kareem Hunt, and does he deserve a second chance? This is what Nagy said.
With him, that's not for me to decide. I will say this, that me personally, depending on certain people's situations, I'm a guy that has always been that. Now, I've been kind of raised that way to give guys second chances, not third chances, but I've kind of learned that through Coach Reed. He's done that several times with some people. And but I also say that every situation is different, so.
Yeah, Coach Reed didn't give Kareem Hunt a second chance. He let him go. What do you think about the whole idea of bringing to the Chicago Bears a guy who is in trouble with the NFL, not only for hitting a woman, but also there are a couple of other allegations against him that the NFL is looking at in terms of domestic disturbance or getting involved in some altercations, let's put it that way. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I knew Quentin Daly. Now, people don't remember who he is. Maybe a lot of the younger folks on Barroom don't know who he is. But he had been involved in an alleged rape in San Francisco. He played for the San Francisco Dons. He ended up being a bull. And that followed him forever. And it was never good. I don't know if you're giving somebody a second chance when they already have had three different situations. Really... we want to give everybody a second chance. Wait a minute, there's been 2 or 3 incidences already. So isn't really, and they've talked to him about it before. I think if he could get him and he wants, here's where I got a quagmire thing. Mm-hmm. What's the fallback going to be? You're going to hear from women's groups. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to hear from people afraid to really state the case. They'll ride the fence. I think Jordan Howard's going to be the loser here. I think you try to trade him, maybe for draft picks or what have you. But it seemed to me, from what I heard today, Nagy had no use for the guy, and he had stars in his eyes for a guy that's on the commissioner's list right now.
Right.
I will say this. I like Jordan Howard, but it's not his offense. But then again, Tariq Cohen only carried the ball once. So they need a running back, right? Mm-hmm. They don't think Tariq Cohen can carry the ball 20 times a game, every game. Kareem Hunt, if he's allowed to play, I'm not going to criticize the Bears for picking him up, because that means that he went through whatever punishment. He probably won't start the season, but he'll eventually play for the Bears. And you know what? I used to always say, how come we don't pick up some of these jerks that end up helping teams win? How come everybody else does? So I can't be a hypocrite and say, you know what? I don't want him on my team because they had some problems. He had some problems. I can't.
Now, would you take into account the fact that Kareem Hunt comes from a family of criminals? Unfortunately, there's no nice way to put it. I mean, his father was arrested 35 times, many of those for domestic disturbance. He's got uncles and cousins and aunts and uncles and so forth, all of them who have done some time or have gotten into some trouble with the law. Now, growing up in that kind of environment, do you give a special consideration for a player like that, or do you say, no, thank you, I am turning the other way?
Well, I think he's going to get special consideration, not because of that. Mm-hmm. He's going to get special consideration, Aldo, because he's good.
He's really good, yes.
Bottom line is, look, a lot of people grow up. Your emotional years are from the time you're born to the time you're 12 or 13. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you what he saw, 95% of this country don't see. And it happens in every community. Domestic abuse, beatings, stuff that, when you go to school, you just brush it off. There's no doubt he did. He doesn't get special treatment for that, because if he didn't have any talent, he'd be out of football for good. That's why Ray Rice is gone. Adrian Peterson, remember when his career was supposed to be over? Look at him now. Yeah. He beat his kid, but guess what? He's one of the greats, 33 years old. He's still got it, So if you got talent, no matter what, there's a good chance you're going to play. I'll give you the perfect example of my lifetime. Pac-Man Jones. Mm-hmm. This guy shot people and stuff, crippled them, and shooting up people and fighting and defecating on bathroom floors, doing coke, doing everything. And next thing you know, he's still in the league. So if you're good, they'll keep you around. They'll keep you around. They're hypocrites when it comes to that.
Yep, it is true. And his biggest hurdle right now is to see what kind of penalty, what kind of disciplinary action the league is going to impose after they're finished with their investigation. So we will see about that.
Hey, look, if we got a chance at him, sorry, Addison Russell's going to play for the Cubs.
That's right.
Every day something comes up.
That's right.
And he's still going to wear a Cub uniform. Granted, at a discounted deal, but an immature kid who's had nothing but problems. Look, nobody's perfect. But it's amazing how some people get one chance only, because I keep hearing the second chance thing. You know what? The second chance bus. I know a lot of people that miss that bus. So I'm trying to figure out how this. Everybody deserves a second chance. It depends. It depends what you do.
Very true. Very true.
And how much talent you got.
And Mr. Hunt has.
I didn't have so many skeletons in my closet. I could have run for at least dog catcher.
I think a lot of our people want you to run for higher office than dog catcher.
I'd straighten the damn Chicago out. Got 20 nitwits running for mayor. My God,
that is so true.
How about this? Go police the streets, and my cops are allowed. And my cops are allowed to do whatever they want to make sure the streets stay safe for the average Joe, not for the criminals.
There you go.
Good luck. So long, everybody. I'll be on the 5th floor.
Well, what do you think about Chris Tabor, the special teams coach? He was asked, he being Matt Nagy, was asked about Tabor and whether he's coming back. This is what Mr. Nagy said.
Yeah, well, so again, we're at the start of all that with the scheme eval. So we'll go through and hammer through. There's so much to look at, but I'm more than happy with what he's done. I think that it's amazing. Sometimes you take, I'm just using for example, a kickoff return, and you return one for 95 yards for a touchdown, and how that can sway your numbers so much and your stats. So we got to dig into the why part. Where can we get better? I have too much respect for him. I know what we had an amazing collaboration this year, both in practice and during the game. I love having him here. I think he's done a great job, and he more than anybody wants to improve and get better there, and we're going to help him in any way we can.
I don't know, Mike. I'm not a big fan of Chris Tabor. What are your thoughts?
He's saying it's not his fault with Parkey. Yeah. He stuck up for him when I told everybody. He should have said, instead of saying we have faith in him, you should have said you're stuck with him. Then there's nothing else we can do. It's sort of like when Tommy got shot in Goodfellas, and the guy tells Jimmy Conway, he's gone. He's gone. Nothing we can do. And that's the way it is. You had Parkey. That was the beginning of the end. And that's why I think Tabor, coached the special teams well. But I'm not blaming him for Parkey. Those are kicks you got to make. And by the way, here's what I would say. Cody Parkey the other day at Goose Island would have missed. Okay? So would a lot of other kickers. Put somebody. I love the promotion. First of all, genius promotion.
It was great, yep.
Great promotion. Goose Island, congratulations. But you should have had a carpet. You should have put the carpet out there over the ice. Mm-hmm. Kicking in the ice was stupid. It was a bad track. Half the guys had boots on. One guy kicked with Italian loafers on. But I'm looking at the track and I'm going, put some salt down. I'll put a rug out. Parkey would have missed. I'm sorry. And I think that's the only thing I thought was wrong with it. Because one of them would have made a kick. You just had no footing.
Mm-hmm. That was such a ridiculous sight. The very first guy that gets up there slips and falls on his butt, and he got there like at 5 a.m.
What a fun town.
It is great.
It was great. Chicago on a Saturday. Every goon from the neighborhood was out there.
What was the most fun promotion that you ran at the Score Sports Radio?
Oh, you think they had people? They should have been at Hug a Black Day. We had a traffic jam. The six block stumble, when I made fun of the marathon, I said, they're spending big bucks. And they're spending nothing but money. LaSalle Bank, whoever, and they asked me what I thought of the marathon. I said it's a bunch of 40,000 white people trying to say they achieved something by taking 6 hours, defecating in their drawers, and walking down Clybourne Avenue going, I walked 26 miles. Give me a break. So then I did the 6 block stumble where people handed us beers as we were running, and we ran around the Cragen area. Where WXRT and WSCR were. So, that was a good promotion. Hug a Black Day. Hug a Jew Day was great. Where we had best yarmulke. We had kosher food. If you were Jewish, you got, some score gifts. It was awesome.
That is unbelievable stuff.
Yeah. Well, you'd be fired today.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Maybe we should do it for Bears Bar Room.
Maybe we should.
Bring back the old bits.
Hug a Puerto Rican Day. I need some hugs. All right.
Puerto Rican Day. Listen, Puerto Rican Day, I just stay off the expressway. I feel like I'm under attack. They got the flags all over the place.
On Puerto Rican Day in June, I think it's the first weekend in June.
Yeah, would you please tell them the big flags are a little gaudy?
Yes.
Just go with the little flag. I know you want everybody to know you're Puerto Rican. I think the honking of the cars on Puerto Rican Day, when everybody knows it's Puerto Rican Day, and a little flag would suffice. But some of these guys, they got flags bigger. They got the flags they fly on battleships. It's hilarious.
Puerto Rican battleship. You're absolutely right.
Well, I'm telling you, they're huge.
I have to admit, that is correct. All right, I want to play one last soundbite, and this was Matt Nagy talking about how much it hurt not to be playing football this past weekend.
Yeah, well, so again, we're at the start of all that with the scheme eval, so we'll go through and
that is clearly the wrong soundbite. That's the one we just played. Let me rewrite this, and it belongs right here.
It's sickening to be sitting there doing what we did last week. I don't want that. None of our guys want it. I'd be lying to you if I told you I didn't watch the games. I just got that junkie in me that wants to watch it. I just figure, you just get better doing that. You get it almost makes you hurt more when you watch them than when you're away from them. But we're all competitors, and we all want to be, in the end, playing 3 more weeks down the road here from where we're at. And but our guys, one of the powerful things I took from our exit meetings was they came away telling me truly how convicted they were in their feelings of us this year and where we could have really went, and none of it was made up. And
Jesus, oh my God! All of a sudden he's Bill Walsh. My God! Look, I don't want to hear you have a press conference where you're going to keep saying every single time we're going to look at things during the offseason. We know this.
I know,
right? He said it every God blessed time. Why'd you even have the press conference? I'll check back with you during the summer. I don't know what to tell you. They got things to address. They got to make sure they're not a flash in the pan. I mean, the schedule's going to be tougher.
I agree with you.
The top, they're not going to surprise people.
No.
I don't think they'll go 12-4 against the spread next year. I think it's going to be a different year. That doesn't mean they're not going to go 10-6, 11-5.
Right.
I remember we won 10 games and didn't make the playoffs. So anything can happen. This was a good year.
All right, I got a baseball question that I'm going to come back to.
I love when you ask me baseball questions.
I know.
Batter up.
Steven Zimmerman, and then we'll get back to football to get your thoughts on the
Talk about anything you want. Football, bocce ball, curling. I'm here.
What the hell is bocce ball? What does Mike?
You don't know?
No, I know.
I got courts out here where I live. I'm going to have to bring you out.
Oh, I'd love to play bocce ball.
I'll show you. You're coming out in a couple days. I'll show you.
Awesome.
I'll show you. We got 8 of them. Bocce. You don't know what bocce ball is? I always thought you were at least a 10th Italian.
No, unfortunately not. Steven Zimmerman wants to know what you think the odds are of Machado coming to the White Sox. He says that he read somewhere that the odds are something like 8-1. What do you think the chances are of the White Sox signing Manny Machado?
It is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And when I hear White Sox fans want this guy, they're the same people who are beating him up when he wasn't hustling or whatever. Now, I know the guy had 30-some home runs, 37 homers, 100 RBIs. What did he ever win? And what happened? What happened? Now I'm hearing about what happened to Tim Anderson. They signed him 6 years for $20 million. He's out the door now. And what happened to us? Now we got Nick Madrigal second. I heard some guy go, I can't wait to see Nick Madrigal play second. You know what he said last year? I can't wait to see Moncada play second. What the hell happened? We traded Chris Sale for Moncada. Now they don't know. To me, it doesn't even look like there'll be a spot for him if they sign Machado.
Yeah.
This whole thing is blown up in their face. Now, isn't Machado a final piece for a contending team?
I agree.
You're rebuilding you have no pitching. You got $100 million to spend on a shortstop or third baseman that doesn't always hustle and has never won anything. Never won anything. So, I'm not going to blame him. Good ball player. But, we need more than Machado. And Bryce Harper, why is it, if these guys are so good, where's all the teams clamoring for him?
Yeah,
they got nobody. Now they're saying Harper may go back to the Nationals. Wait a minute. I thought there was going to be a line for these guys. The White Sox, you know who they're betting against? I said it the other day. All the other team. I didn't say teams. They're betting against themselves.
Heart 4803 wants to know if you still love the White Sox.
It's hard.
I hear you.
It's hard. It's hard. It really is, man. Just like it's hard to love the Bulls. I love the Bulls. But it's hard. People aren't watching them. Reinsdorf has just ruined 2 of the proudest franchises, one an American League charter member, and the Bulls are just deplorable.
Yeah.
And you don't hear any criticism of the guy. Mm-hmm. None. Everybody's afraid of him. It's a joke.
How old is Jerry Reinsdorf? He's got to be like 200 by now, isn't he?
He's 80. He's up there. But look, the man, I could take him or leave him. I like the guy. Look, he's one of those guys that when you think about it, seems like a nice man, but he's ruthless. And the way he runs his teams are just unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I don't think too many people are going to argue those points.
Yep, I agree. I agree with that.
He's got the same here. Here, I'm going to try to teach everybody. This is Jerry Reinsdorf 101. The White Sox, okay? Reinsdorf's at top. Kenny Williams is second. Rick Hahn is third. Period.
Yeah.
Rick Hahn does not do anything without those two guys. Now,
right.
I'll move to the other part, his other team. Jerry Reinsdorf, Michael Reinsdorf now, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Guy's got the personality of a net. Michael Reinsdorf. and then you have, not a bad kid, though. Lucky Sperm Club. Then you have Darren Pax. There's no difference. Reinsdorf, Williams, and Hahn, Reinsdorf, Paxson, and Gar Foreman. Period. End of story. Both dysfunctional.
Yep. That is the sad
And out of all that, the guys below him, Williams has one championship, one hit wonder, and the other guys have none.
Yeah. Man, oh man.
Try to contain yourself.
Well, it's
I gave the speech of my life, and yup.
Dramatic pause.
Yep. Hey, yup. When I get a yup out of you, that means you're looking at the computer. Yep.
I'm looking at CD Fan wants to know your thoughts on the Rams and Saints.
I'm sorry, I'm firing.
Los Angeles Rams at New Orleans Saints. The spread right now is the Saints minus 3 points. What are your early thoughts on this game that starts at 2:30 or 2 o'clock on Sunday?
My early thoughts is I like New Orleans. Just my early thoughts. By Friday, Mike North advantage. Mm-hmm. There's only one reason. I'm at the top because I'm not making the commitment now. Sometimes early thoughts go the other way by the end of the week. But right now, I just think it's a Drew Brees deal. I think that it's too easy. It's basically an even game because you get 3 points on the road. I'm going to go with I would go with right now the Saints.
Hart 4803 says that he likes the Rams if they run the ball. How about that performance by Todd Gurley and C.J. Anderson? Boy, oh boy, between the two of them, they got almost 250 yards rushing.
Yeah, C.J. Anderson was more impressive than Gurley.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, if they could do that again, they're not going to lose. But, you got a different ball game. You're playing a different quarterback, playing a different team. I thought Sean Payton to go for it from the 30 and to do the fake punt. Yeah. I don't think that's getting enough talked about because if they don't make that, they lose. And they let Philadelphia back in the game. It's just amazing. So I think that the final analysis for the Super Bowl, the two games are going to be great games. They're good. I mean, Kansas City and New England versus those. I mean, you got Brady versus Mahomes. You got young against old. And the Patriots are 3-point underdogs. So, man, New England's getting 3 on the road. And don't forget, Mahomes a kid. He's a kid.
Yes.
So he's got a lot of weight on him, man. He's got a lot of weight on him, but we'll see. I know they won. I can't get past. They've lost their last. I mean, now they're 2-11 in playoff games. So.
And we'll see. And what the big surprise for me was how well the Chiefs' defense did against Andrew Luck. And I know what you said about Luck playing outside and the cold weather and all that stuff, and that makes a lot of sense. But, man, still, that Chiefs' defense looked very impressive, which is, I think, why they are, a 3-point favorite right now. Yeah,
I just think that giving Brady 3 points, I mean, Everybody had him done already. They had him losing last week. So, including me. So, he's back. The worst thing they can say about him today is he sits on the bench with a 250-pound jacket around him. I saw that today. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, a lot of people like Brady. A lot of people don't. A lot of people do. That's the superstar thing. It's just the way it is. They win so much. When you stop and think, Aldo, that he's made it to the playoffs almost every single year. And the last 8 years he's been in the championship game. It's just unbelievable. It's unfathomable because his teams change as much as anybody's. His offense has changed. You look at an offense, look at an old roster from 7 years ago. There's nobody left.
Nobody.
Except maybe he's had Gronk. Look, Aaron Hernandez is dead. This guy was making touchdowns. That's how long ago it is.
That's funny.
Aaron Hernandez was picking off people on street corners and playing football. That's how long ago that was.
Jeez,
Wow.
I should not be laughing at that. That's morbid.
Yeah, you're terrible. You know what? Gutter boy, just like me. It's so good down here. Pass the soap.
Ashley wants to know if Mitch Trubisky can ever become Tom Brady.
No. Nobody's Tom Brady, man. Belichick, if Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, Belichick probably gets fired down the line. Because they weren't going to give Brady that kind of chance.
Yep.
And then he comes in and steals the thunder. It's sort of like when Pittsburgh had Tommy Maddox, and he got hurt. Guess who gets to play? Ben Roethlisberger. Tommy Maddox never took the field again, ever. So there's some luck involved here. You know what I mean? Injuries sometimes become lucky for certain coaches. For Belichick, it did.
Yeah.
Period of the story.
Very true. Heart4803 says that Brady is the best quarterback of all time, period. Call him a system quarterback if you want, but he is a winner. You agree with that? Best quarterback?
Still got to make the throws. Makes great throws.
Yep.
Understands the game. And you know what? It's about his signal calling, reading the blitzes, the stuff that a lot of other quarterbacks can't do. He stays in the pocket till the very, very end. He takes his share of hits. But with the rules now, he can hopefully play for. I never want to see the guy retire. I think he's part of the good of the National Football League. I really do. I think he's one of their poster boys. And when a guy like him retires, it's tough to replace. It's like when Joe Montana retired. And by the way, Joe Montana up until the other day was the last quarterback to win in the playoffs for Kansas City.
Oh, wow. How about that?
Aldo, no amount of money could get you that kind of information. I'm telling you right now. When everybody's sleeping and I got, insomnia, I'm walking around finding out facts and figures.
I love it. I love it. All right.
Yeah.
So what happened on Friday when the screenwriters visited you and you guys were scheduled to work 9-10 hours on the script? How did that go?
It went good. It went good. We're going to do some more this coming Friday. There's a lot of scenes that we're trying to set up, scenes that are being thrown out, scenes that are being added. They did hear the show, which was great.
Excellent.
Because they heard the stories. They thought the stories about Rickles, the Sinatra stories, they loved that. And it's sort of my way of them wanting me, instead of to write stuff, I'll just say stuff, on the radio.
Right.
Just like we just compared Hug a Jew Day, Hug a Black Day, to the Goose Island field goal kicking contest. And they're basically the same result. Just stuff like that. Stuff that, there's stories coming out, and just like me and you are going to be coming out with a couple announcements in a couple days. You're coming over Wednesday. And a lot of stuff that you talk about, some stuff you don't want to talk about.
Right. Right.
But that's just the way it is. If you're going to make a movie, you got to make a movie that people are going to want to watch. My deal is you have a bunch of scenes. You want at least 5 of them that you want to stop at. It's hard to do. Because there's some movies that not one scene you want to stop at. There's some movies you only watch once and you never want to see again, even though you liked it.
Exactly.
Right?
Right. Very true.
Yeah, see, Hangover was on before we came on the air. So I watched it again because there's so many good scenes.
Oh.
That's the kind of movie you want. Because, if you don't like the one scene, and The Sopranos were like this. If there's a dull here, after Tony Soprano went to the psychiatrist, right?
Right.
Always the next scene, he was strangling somebody or somebody was... Because you needed to wake my ass up. I thought that woman almost ruined the show. But you had to show that he had weaknesses, so that was the way they decided to do it.
Dr. Melfi? Dr. Melfi wasn't a good character for you?
Oh, I hated her. I hated her. Every time she came on, okay, he's going to start questioning himself or questioning her. It's a 5-minute bit, but it's really a pause. We're going to take a quick time out from the killing and spend some time to get Tony psychoanalyzed. That's what it was. I would have wished, instead of having her on, oh, but by the way, this is great. When you watch scene 1, or year 1, okay? And then you watch year 6.
Yeah.
Even her. Double chin. Triple chin. They ate so much on that show, those people. I mean, Tony weighs, I guarantee you. Because when you see him eating,
yep.
Usually, like John Wayne in movies, they play with their food.
Yes.
Or they hold the fork up. Or they'll take a couple bites.
That's right.
A lot of people spit out the food.
That's right. That's right. No, they were clearly
Tony
eating.
Soprano never spit out nothing. He swallowed everything he ate. He'd be talking while he was eating.
Yes.
It was great. And they ballooned. They all ballooned. Melfi ballooned. Everybody.
Well, the only one that didn't was Meadow. Meadow actually lost weight, and David Chase got
angry.
There
was no food left. He was anorexic. They ate it all. Well, listen, you know what? Anorexia is brutal. But I got to tell you something.
Nothing to laugh at.
When Karen Carpenter died, it bothered me so damn much. You're the brother. You're right there.
Get her a damn sandwich.
Make her a sub. Do something. Come on, you're 100 pounds underweight. Let's make an album. No, Peter. Jesus. I mean, my God, you watch your own kids dwindle. Come on.
All right, I'm going to play the closing music. I cannot laugh anymore.
I'm going upstairs to have some salami.
That's a great idea.
I am. I'm going to cut me some supersada. Great time tonight.
Oh, a lot of laughs, Mike. Really enjoyed it.
That's the word. Jeez.
Hey, everybody listening on Mixlr.com, if you loved what you just heard, let people know that the show will be on BearsBarroom.com in a couple of hours. It'll be there all week long.
And every Monday. Every Friday.
That's right.
Let's get it done.
Let people know that we're having a blast here, cracking jokes and talking football and other sports and gambling and stuff. It's just always a good time to talk to Mike North. Mike, say goodbye to your friends.
So long, everybody.